Staying in contact. I'm London Mitchell. Each week, we take a few minutes to discuss issues facing our community of Northwest Ohio, getting into the weeds and looking for solutions. In this episode, we are discussing the growing number of scams we're facing. My guest is the president of the local Better Business Bureau, Lane Montz. He issued a public service bulletin earlier this week with the title, "Don't Answer Your Phone, Don't Answer Your Door." Wow.
So yes, that's an attention grabber. That's a hook. But, and of course, you should still answer your phone and answer your door. Life goes on. But there are some things going on, and we see it all year round, but particularly in the summer months, London, especially as back to school time approaches. Certain kinds of scams do heat up, and they arrive both by phone and by the front door.
I think when I read the public service release from the Better Business Bureau, it seemed to be more focused toward the elderly.
Yes, one of the things is they are home during the day more often than a lot of other segments of society. So they are probably a little more susceptible to a door-to-door scam or a phone scam that happens during the day. And a lot of them do.
The phone rings, ring-a-ling-a-ling, and it's a scammer. How do you recognize that this person might not be legit?
Yeah, you can never really know for sure, obviously. So you have to have some guardrails baked into how you approach these things. If you're not expecting it, if you don't immediately recognize who it's from, if it's not friends and family, that's one indicator. But more often the indicator is once you start to hear what they have to say, if there's a sense of pressure or urgency, that is a big red flag. And if they're asking for money, that's another big red flag. So those two together are pretty good indicators that you should be on guard about what happens next.
And sometimes they're not asking for cash, but they're asking for gift cards. That should be a red flag.
Well, they're probably not going to ask you for cash, excuse me, over the phone. They might try that at the front door. Hopefully people know better than that by now. And a lot of people don't carry much cash anymore with the debit card, credit card world we live in. So their approach is going to be more like get information that gives them access to your bank accounts or credit card balances, or get gift cards and they'll ask you to give the codes or deposit money in a fake account or something like that. Cash would be a pretty big red flag. And again, I'm not talking about if you live close to the high school or junior high and the kids show up and they've got the band uniforms on or whatever, the football uniforms, those you can give a little more leeway to. You still want to be sure, but I'm talking about, people that look like very old teenagers or very young adults and they don't have any uniform on, but they have this tug at your heartstring cause. And those are some additional warning flags.
Rather gutsy for a scammer to show up at your front door, I would think.
So yes, so last year, and it still continues, last year there was a variation on this that was targeted to business owners, people showing up in uniform that looked like the electric company or the gas company in person, dressed in the attire of somebody at the utility company, asking to see your electrical panel or your water meter, saying they'd gotten a signal that there was something wrong. And those were people coming right into businesses in life. So if you want to talk gutsy, I think that's the boldest I've heard so far.
A lot of these scammers, they're pretty smooth operators. They know what to say, how to say it. They're rehearsed. Maybe we shouldn't feel all that, I don't want to say stupid for being scammed by a scammer, but these guys are pretty well schooled in their trade.
Street grifting has been around for a long time, and people that make a living doing it, the 3-card money or the shell game on the street, you either get good or you go hungry. So it's the same way with the scammers. Um, if they weren't so reprehensible, I'd want them on my sales team, right? Because they're good salespeople and they know how to make a convincing pitch and they know what buttons to push. So no, people shouldn't feel bad if they get an emotional response that makes them want to respond. And particularly London at the end of a summer, as school approaches, some of these school or community-based fundraiser scams, they heat up. No pun intended, but raising money for a sports team or for the fire department or a band or orchestra or the police department, all these sort of civic support scams, they do heat up this time of year and they do use door-to-door tactics and they do use phone tactics. And they, at first blush, they do seem legitimate. So if someone has the initial gut reaction to want to support, they definitely should not feel bad about that. But if somebody's asking you for your credit or debit card over the phone, don't give it to them. Don't give them your bank account information. Here's the key. Here is the key. If it's a legitimate charity with a legitimate fundraising purpose for any of those organizations I just mentioned, they will be happy to take your donations, not necessarily at the doorstep or on the phone. You have time to go call the school system. You can call the police department, the fire department. Hey, are you guys running a fundraiser right now? Does this sound legitimate? And they'll tell you. And if they are, and you want to give, you can make the call to them and you can figure out with them how to do it. They're happy to wait a few days for your donations. When they're not happy to wait, that is a big indicator, and you probably should feel a little bit bad if they put that pressure on you and you've had time, you could have pumped the brakes and thought about it. You don't want to be in that situation. So do pump the brakes. Do make your own investigation. It doesn't have to be Matlock or, but do a little work on your own. And then if it's legitimate, go ahead and make that donation and support that cause. BBB's all for that.
Good advice. Good advice. One of the scams that is getting a lot of publicity right now is this phone call you get, and it's from a relative, maybe a grandchild who's in trouble, needs money, help me. That can really tug at your heart.
It's a pretty effective one. They'll even, if they say they need bail money, they'll even say, do you want to talk to the sheriff or the officer or whatever? And then they'll have a cohort in the scam that acts like that. Or they'll even have a separate phone number and say things like, you can call the court to post the bail. And that'll be a fake phone number. So even when you call it, it's fake. It's all set up. It's all rigged. They're shills. So yes, you have to have a safe word with your family. And if someone calls me, if you call me and you're in trouble and you need money or you need me to go somewhere and do something, you got to have a code word within the family that everybody knows about but doesn't tell the outside world, so that grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, mom, dad, whoever, it can be a young person. It can be a young person. One sibling could pretend to call the other and say, especially if they know they're on spring break, hey, I'm on spring break and I got arrested or whatever. So it's not just the elderly. You got to have a family code word. And if they don't know the code word, you just hang up that phone and call the police.
Boy, that is a good idea. A
Yeah.
family code word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, don't make it the family dog's name, because people post pictures of their dog on Facebook and other social media. And these scammers, for some of these scams, including the one you're talking about with grandchildren calling for help, they will review social media postings ahead of time. So they will know when there was a family reunion. They will know when there was a birthday party. They will know when the dog had a video of the dog catching a frisbee and somebody posted, way to go tiger or whatever. They will know all that stuff ahead of time. So then they will use that familiarity to lull you into a false sense of security. So you can't just rely on them knowing about what's going on in the family, including pet names. you definitely have to have that code word. That's the only way.
It sounds like they do a lot of research, takes a lot of time, but then you have to stop and say to yourself, hey, this is their occupation to
Sure.
scam you.
Yeah, so even if they put a half an hour in scanning your social media, and it's easy to find Facebook accounts for older people, right? And then they post pictures of their grandkids and captions with family names, and if there was a picnic or a family reunion or they went to Disney World together. So you figure, yeah, that might take them a half an hour and then it gets you on the phone for a half hour, but they're probably going to ask for $1,200, $1,500, $2,500 for bail or for whatever. And so to post a bond. So, that's pretty good money per hour when they strike gold. It's not a bad business model. It's just a bad business model.
Lane Mounts, we've done several interviews since you became the president of the local Better Business Bureau. BBB was created, correct me if I'm wrong, really to set standards for local businesses. But it seems like more and more I talk to you about scams and advice to help people hold on to their money.
So I I do believe, and it is true, that our primary mission is to serve the businesses. They are our members, they are our customers, and their dues support what we do for the public, right? So I would talk all day, London. You got another 8 hours? I'll talk all day about my businesses and the things we do for businesses. I love it. It's near and dear to my heart. But part of our mission, it's sort of a twin mission, is to serve the public. And by the way, the scam warnings and the education about stuff like that, it helps businesses too. Believe me, I got a call not that long ago from one of our businesses in Monroe, Michigan. They said, "Hey, we got this phone call. We were able to avoid being scammed because of the notices you send out." Because I send them to our businesses as well. So sure, you do hear a lot from scams, but BBB is a lot more than just scam alerts. Our mission is to find and promote and help the best businesses improve, help the best businesses do better. And I love that part of my job.
That's great. Tell me a little bit about the BBB website and this program have called Scam Tracker.
Scam Tracker is a program put in place by our parent organization. If people don't know, BBB sprang up at the beginning of the century, around 1912 to 1920, and they began springing up in different cities as a grassroots consumer watchdog movement and business watchdog movement. And so they weren't knitted together for a long time. By the way, people don't know this, but the BBB system was founded by the president of Coca-Cola at the time, and he was vice president when he started. He ended up becoming president, and it's a wonderful story. You could check that out, ask ChatGPT or Google it up. He was quite a prominent business person at the beginning of the 1900s. So anyway, it was his idea, and the BBB sprang up. And then eventually, and I don't know when, they knitted themselves together with a parent organization, which is today called the International Assembly of Better Business Bureaus, and that holds the Torch logo and the other intellectual property. They manage our website, bbb.org, and they created the Scam Tracker program through the Institute for Marketplace Trust, and that's a way that people can report scams, and then those scams will be added to the database, or they can look up scams. It's designed to allow people to look up or report scams in their local area. You raise a point in my mind, Mitchell. I should probably get on Scam Tracker and act like a consumer and use it from the consumer's perspective. I haven't done that, but after talking today, I'm going to do that. But so Scam Tracker is it's a database managed by our parent organization, but it gives you information in your location or your region, and it allows you to report scams so that people can pinpoint and know what's going on in their area.
Lane Montz is the president of the local Better Business Bureau, today helping us stay out of trouble with scammers around every corner. One quick question, Lane. I see there's a painting on your wall. A man on a white horse. Who is he?
Picture of Don Quixote tilting at windmills, and I had that piece of wall art, and I thought it would be most appropriate for my Better Business Bureau office because we're tilting at the windmills of the never-ending flood of scam artists and dishonest businesses and cheaters and liars, and you can never completely vanquish them because they are more numerous than the honest people. So, Don Quixote tilting at windmills.
That's our program for this week. I'm London Mitchell, inviting you to join us again next week as we continue staying in contact.
Previous installments of Staying in Contact with London Mitchell are available on the Stream 419 app, Spotify, and londonmitchell.news.